When it's happening now, you can't beat the immediacy of radio.
Chance to hear the thoughts of acclaimed author.
No matter where you are.
I'm Darlene Livingston with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
When events are spectacular, television is by far the best media platform.
Why now this particular topic?
For sports action, well, need we say more? Broadcast reporters put elected officials on the spot, keeping them honest and accountable to voters. And they can explain things in ways we all understand.
Climbs up to 12.5%.
Broadcast news is important. We're your eyes and ears on the ground. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us tonight. In good times and bad. Radio's your constant companion.
On the big station, Power 95.
And TV news is the news.
Based on what you're seeing.
And Bermuda Broadcasting is your station.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Monday, December the 17th, 2018. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us. The government has been forced to change legislation that was aimed at addressing concerns by the European Union over the economic substance of the island. It all centers around the Economic Substance Act 2018, aimed at quelling EU concerns about tax avoidance by multinational companies. Mike Sharp leads us off.
Finance Minister Curtis Dickinson said this could be the most important bill involving the international business sector.
I move that the preamble be approved, Mr. Chair.
It has been moved that the preamble be approved. Any objections to that? Approved.
Mr. Chair, I move that the bill be reported to the House as printed.
It has been moved that the bill be reported to the House as printed. Are there any objections to that? Approved. The bill will be reported to the House as printed.
That was Deputy Speaker of the House, Derek Burgess, and Minister Dickinson. Meantime, Premier David Burt told the House of Assembly that the legislation is designed to tackle European Code of Conduct Group's concerns about tax avoidance by multinational companies. The government leader also stated that some companies will elect not to stay in Bermuda due to amendments.
And today we're going to pass legislation which some fear may be the end of Bermuda. What we're doing is response to the European Union, who has decided that due to whatever political pressures they are facing at home, that this is the best way to address this particular situation. The issue is, Mr. Speaker, that we are clearly transparent in our taxes. We are clearly transparent in the information of which we share, and we are compliant with the latest international standards. The truth of the matter is that it's not tax changes here that are going to address the challenges which are needed, but it's tax changes and laws that are going to be required in other jurisdictions and not ours. However, as those changes seem to be difficult, they are seeming to take a different approach, and this is the approach of where they had. The global financial system, Mr. Speaker, in my opinion, works best when it's done in a way where there is consensus across all countries and all regions of the world. And the OECD Global Forum is the correct structure for this. However, for whatever reason, the European Union decided to go outside of that remit and push ahead. As the Minister of Finance has noted, that the OECD is looking to adopt a lot of the items that are inside of the EU standard to apply to a new global standard, but that global standard is not here. So we are now being subject to what many of us have found to be a subjective process. The process has not been clear, Mr. Speaker, and it has been difficult. The European Union did not issue guidance until July on this particular matter, even though they had this process has been ongoing for a while. So it was not until July that clear guidance was issued from the from ECOFIN. After that, and as the government and industry worked together to fashion legislation, it seemed as though if they were continually changing of views, as other people say, the continuously moving goalposts. And as I said, Mr. Speaker, Bermuda is not unique, as this has been the experience of many other countries that have been unfairly targeted by the European Union.
The revised bill was increased from 11 to 19 pages and also includes amendments to the Investment Act 2006 and the Bermuda Monetary Authority Act 1969. I'm Mike Sharp for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Mike. Meanwhile, opposition MP Michael Dunkley said that all MPs had no choice but to pull together on this new bill. The former premier added that if we did not pass the bill, then we risked being blacklisted.
Today was an interesting day in Bermuda politics because you have a day when both sides of the House come together to support the Economic Substance Act with the government brought to the table after some late amendments. And we're up against the time frame, we know that. But this bill today is something that I think everyone in the House would have preferred was different. But what we have is the EU, with all their power and authority, trying to impose on smaller countries what they believe is right. And the one thing that I've always said, Mike, especially when I was the premier and I traveled to the United States and to England and to talk about what Bermuda was, is every country has their right and their ability to impose taxes as they deem fit and necessary. And none of these compliance organizations or oversight organizations or anyone in the EU can say that that wasn't appropriate. But what they keep doing is they keep changing the breadth of the field or moving the goalposts on the field because they have the authority and they have the power to do it. And today we had little choice other than to pass this act because the other side of the coin would have been, we would have been blacklisted, and who knows where that would have ended up.
Another legal expert has warned that the Bermuda government stands to lose its case against gay marriage if it is taken up by the Privy Council in London. Constitutional expert Nicola Barker told Try Trot the case is not about religious versus gay rights.
As you're aware, the Bermuda government is under heavy criticism for deciding to proceed with this appeal to the Privy Council due to the costs associated. Now, the Minister of Home Affairs was quoted as saying the issues involved in this case are of general public importance to the people of Bermuda, and he said involve complex and difficult issues. Is he correct on that spirit?
I think he is. It's obviously a case of public importance, and it's obviously a case where there are complex legal issues involved. I think what hasn't necessarily been appreciated in the discourse around this case is that this case isn't about gay rights versus religion. Right? So it might feel like it is to those on both sides of the case who have strong views about the issue. But legally, it's not about that anymore. That argument was finished when the previous government decided not to appeal the Godwin case a few years ago. This case is about whether the government is allowed to prefer one version of Christianity over another version of Christianity, or indeed over other religious or non-religious beliefs.
And Nicola Barker believes should the Privy Council rule in favor of gay marriage, it will have a ripple effect across the other overseas territories where same-sex marriage is not yet recognized.
All of the overseas territories have similar provisions in their constitution to Bermuda's freedom of conscience provision. Some of them already have same-sex marriage. Actually, Gibraltar does, the Pitcairn Islands do. So it's not necessarily going to bring about, a wave of new same-sex marriage immediately in the overseas territories, but certainly those territories who have so far declined to enact same-sex marriage but do have strong freedom of conscience protections in their constitution that are similar to Bermuda's, which is many of them.
Asked who she believes will prevail once the case goes before the Privy Council.
Up until now, in my view, the Bermuda government had been the favourites to win in both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, and obviously they didn't. It's always been my opinion that if the case got to the Privy Council, then Ferguson and Out Bermuda would be fairly strong favourites to win the case for a couple of reasons. The judges who sit on the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council are the same judges who sit on the UK Supreme Court. And they've given two rulings this year that suggest to me that they are going to be minded to rule in favour of Ferguson and Out Bermuda if they possibly can. And I think that the case that's been presented so far has been a very strong one in terms of the constitutional arguments that have been made on the basis of freedom of religion. So I think that Ferguson and Out Bermuda are going to be giving the Privy Council plenty of reasons to rule in their favour.
One case the Privy Council took up was the case of a Christian baker from Northern Ireland who refused to bake a cake with pro-gay slogans. The bakery was initially fined by local officials. However, the Privy Council overturned the decision when it took up the case, ruling the baker had a right to freedom of conscience.
So there's a certain irony there, but that case, having been brought by a Christian bakery opposed to same-sex marriage, is actually going to give strength to Out Bermuda's case, because their case is also based on protection for freedom of conscience. So we've seen one example where the judges who will be sitting on the Privy Council have given a kind of a strong emphasis on freedom of conscience, and that's what Out Bermuda will need in order to win their case.
Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Tarai. Well, we'll have more for you after the break, including your AccuWeather forecast for the week. Stay with us.
The year-end clearance sale is now on at Bermuda Motors. Cargo ships bringing our 2019 models will be arriving soon. To make room, we're offering the lowest prices of the year on these models. Ford Figo, our hatchback with cutting-edge technology. Ford EcoSport, big on comfort, safety, and power. Toyota Avenza, the perfect balance of style and function. Toyota Prius C, our fuel-efficient 5-door hybrid. So hurry, prices are available until the end of the year or while our inventory lasts at Bermuda Motors.
Getting ready for Christmas is all about the finishing touches.
The icing on the cake. The table neatly set. Decorations specially placed. And gifts thoughtfully wrapped. All to share with those we love. In special moments as simple as this.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
Colonial, where people come first.
Welcome back. Well, the Arcadia cruise ship broke free from its lines while docked at Heritage Wharf in the early hours of this morning. Cooper Stevenson tells us what happened.
It was all hands on deck at 3 a.m. this morning when a bow line on the MV Arcadia snapped due to high winds. Crew members acted quickly to release the ship from Heritage Wharf, which is standard procedure to prevent any more lines from snapping. The Arcadia was later put back by linemen from Pier 41 with the assistance of Bermuda Harbor Radio and 2 tugboats, Powerful and Faithful. Nobody was injured in the accident, nor was there any damage to the wharf, according to Andrew Diaz, general manager for WEDCO. Mr. Diaz says an internal investigation will be conducted to determine why the ship was able to break free from its lines, despite forecasts calling for heavy winds overnight. The Arcadia, which set sail from Southampton, England, bound for Nassau in the Bahamas, left the island earlier today as scheduled. I'm Cooper Stevenson with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
In business news, retail sales dropped by 6.8% this September, according to the latest retail sales index against the same period of last year. All retail sectors recorded declines in overall sales volume, with motor vehicles leading the way with a drop of 31.3%. The next greatest losses were suffered by local apparel stores, whose sales volume fell by 17.6% overall. The Minister for the Cabinet Office, Walton Brown Jr., says, quote, notwithstanding the decline in the value of local retail sales overseas, declarations by returning residents were $4.7 million, a drop of 2.1%. Non-commercial imports by household, excluding overseas declarations by returning residents, was $800,000. Turning to weather news, breezy with some light showers today. Let's go to AccuWeather headquarters to get the latest update.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast here on ZBM is brought to us by our friends at the BF&M Insurance Group, and we're getting a little bit of a break in the action after our most recent front pushes east, but it's not necessarily quiet. We still have an active wind. You can still see some showers in the area, and there are extra clouds with the secondary trough moving on in. This is the way it looked when the sun was up. Now the lights go out there as the sun sets, but there is a good number of clouds, there are a good number of clouds out there across the region. And if there was a radar network across the ocean, it would look a lot like this. This is the satellite estimated rainfall. Most of the most widespread showers are off to the east, but with this additional little trough coming in, there are a few fleeting sprinkles between the Carolina coast and us. So we may see a brief sprinkle or two tonight, but it will not be long lasting. We're at 70 degrees right now. Temperatures really haven't moved much over the past few hours, partly because the wind is active from the west at 19 knots. And the water temp is around 68 degrees, so to no surprise, we're pretty close to that water temperature. On the inside, we have 2 to 4 foot waves. On the outside, there are 6 to 11 foot wave heights. They're largest on the west side, so it is a little tumultuous out there for our boating friends. A small craft warning continues tonight all the way through Wednesday morning, so through Tuesday in its entirety. Low tide is occurring at 10:12, so the tide's on the way out. It'll come back in early tomorrow morning. Another low tide at 11:10 on your Tuesday, and then high tide again tomorrow in the late afternoon. But again, just be aware out there with that breeze and some cloud cover. There will be some big waves out there because of the wind, and boating weather is not the best. We'll get down to 63 tonight. Tomorrow, still breezy out there, and we saw that trough off to the west. There's little spotty showers, and a few of them may race across the sky, and you may end up wet at some point on your Tuesday, though it won't rain long. Futurecast shows that the main stripe of moisture and the main rain is off to the east, tied to our recent front. And Futurecast kind of struggles to produce any showers with this secondary trough, but there may be a few out there. Winds will still remain active from the west and west-northwest. A lot of the rain, and that's even some snow out there, will remain off to our north. And as we take a look at the current conditions into the Caribbean, it's a little bit breezy with some scattered showers out there to Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago, where the trade winds are driving a few showers on through. No tropical threats. This is the hurricane off season, thankfully. And into eastern North America, the Gateway forecast shows Toronto, chilly, pretty chilly again into New York and Boston. Atlanta's on the cool side this Tuesday. Miami, we're at 75, which is maybe a tiny shade below average, but not far off the mark. And in London, we're close to the norm there with some showers and 49 degrees. 5-day forecast features a few brief showers on Tuesday. Nothing too threatening, though. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, a little cooler for a day or two. Then we do warm up. Gradual warming trend Thursday and Friday in advance of the next system. This one on Saturday will make some more noise with showers, maybe even a thunderstorm, and temperatures are going to be up with a pretty good breeze from the south. So we're going to send it back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
I was diagnosed with illness. Very frightening because my son had just turned 1 and it was a cancer. So I'm young, new baby, and I needed to get the care that I knew would be definitive so that I wanted to be around for him for a very long time. I got in contact with BF&M, and BF&M was able to commit at that time to doing at least 50%, so we were comfortable, okay, well, we're gonna go. We got off the plane, actually, the day of the procedure, and on my way to the limo, my case manager called and she says, Kiana, we got it, you're covered at 100%. And I cried all the way to the office because I was just so happy. The BF&M difference is that I really felt that the case manager really was concerned about my overall care, and because of that, I really appreciated them. I think that personal care, that willingness to listen, and then to work until they were able to get it so that I could get full coverage really made the difference for me.
Surface Terms has been serving Bermuda for over 25 years, supplying and installing tile and natural stone. We have a large in-stock selection of beautiful porcelain wood planking, including our exclusive Bermuda cedar tile. You will also find Bermuda's best in-stock selection of countertops, including natural granites, exotic quartzites, and silestone engineered quartz in all the newest colors. Our team will be happy to help you. Stop by our showroom at 17 Serpentine Road or give us a call at 295-8005.
Treat yourself and your loved ones this Christmas at Diamonds International in Dockyard. Sensational bracelets like this 14 Diamond Dazzler, Asian-inspired jewelry by John Hardy, and Bremont Aviation watches. During the holidays, there is 15 to 75% off all merchandise, and this watch as a free gift with every purchase. Plus 5% of all shopping proceeds will be donated to the LCCA charity. There is nothing comparable on the island to the truly outstanding collection at Diamonds International in Dockyard.
who will represent the National Football League, AFC, and NFC respective conferences. The 53rd edition of the Super Bowl will be played right here on CBS Network, home of ZBM TV9 on February the 3rd, 2019. Be a part of the most exciting and thrilling game played around the world during the month of February. ZBM will bring you exclusive live coverage from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, beginning at 12:30 p.m. For more information on sponsorship, email sales@bbc.bm or call 295-2828 and ask for our sales department.
Attention all gamers and tech fans. This Friday, you'll have the chance to learn code and computer programming at the annual Code 441 Hackathon this Friday. The event, now in its 5th year, is free to attend. Bermudian software engineer Jade Eve will be teaching students aged 12 to 17 how to use tech to build their own apps and more.
Calling all hackers.
If you've never done coding, it's the perfect day to come. It's very beginner friendly, and you have a lot of other students who've never done coding as well. If you're into learning and learning new things and having fun and making new friends, it's going to be a great event for you.
The future is now, and here's your chance to learn how apps, games, and computer software is built so that you can start your own.
They'll learn the fundamentals of programming, so integers, numbers, arrays, lists, and hashes, and then also learn how to build applications, and then how to look at a problem and come up with a creative and effective solution for it.
Bermudian Jade Eve, the facilitator of Code 441's hackathon, says he became interested in computer software engineering through a love of gaming.
They pick it up very quickly. I've actually had situations where the lesson plan that I had in the morning was too little for them, and I had to go back at lunch and come up with a whole new lesson plan because they finished my day's work of learning in the first few hours. They find it very creative. It allows them to express themselves in a way to create an app. It's almost like painting or music for them. They pick it up very quickly, and it's something that they find exciting and enjoyable as well.
The charity is geared towards inspiring the next generation of creative minds. And now Jade is home to share his experience as a software engineer at a startup company in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, the global hub of technology innovators.
Technology and IT is going to influence every aspect of our lives, from insurance to healthcare to automation and transport. And programming is the fundamentals of all of that. It allows us to connect different industries and connect people and ideas across the world. So programming is definitely even broader than the IT sector. It's the whole global sector.
It may be all fun and games, but he says the skills learned through coding can carry students into good careers.
There are accountants, underwriters, there are financial analysts that all utilize coding. I've even met some people in the healthcare industry who are analyzing different stem cell research that are using coding. So it's something that's not just related to the IT sector. It's very broad, and it's going to touch almost every aspect of our lives as we move into the future.
But for Jade, it's all about giving back to the youth.
I'm very proud to be a Bermudian, and I definitely want to give back to my country moving into the future. So this is something that I would have loved to see when I was that age, and it's something that I'm happy to provide and give my time to help the next generation of computer students or even people that are interested in technology.
Hackers, unplug and bring your laptops over to the AXA XL building on Bermudiana Road this Friday starting at 9 a.m. If you don't own a laptop, one will be provided for you. To register, go online to code441.com. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, still to come, Earl Basin will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs for their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
From the very beginning, it was always our singular focus to do whatever it takes, use every possible resource to fight cancer, and never lose sight of the patients we're fighting for. Our cancer treatment specialists share the same vision. Experts from all over the world working closely together to deliver truly personalized cancer care. And these are the specialists we're proud to call our own. Expert medicine works here. Learn more at cancercenter.com. Appointments available now.
Turning to sports, a record was broken during harness pony racing yesterday. The Sailing Melbourne Regatta came to an end over the weekend, and Warwick Academy swimmers win medals in Florida. Earl Bazin has the details and so much more in tonight's Sports Report.
A new record was established at the National Equestrian Center on Visa Street yesterday as the harness pony racing season continued. Taiwan Waldron and the Bike of War Machine have been knocking on the door of the track record. They successfully did so when they were clocked in a time of 1:01 and 2 during the 1:03 and 4 and faster time bar class. Andrea Westerfield in the Bike of Custard the Dragon was second, clocking a time of 1:03 and 1, and It's All About Me and Christian Truin finished third with a time of 1:04 and 1. Members of the Warwick Academy swim team concluded competing in the 28th annual Speedo Winter Championships in Florida over the weekend. They won a total of 7 medals over the 4-day event. The first medal for the Warwick Academy team came during the 15-16 women's 50-yard backstroke as Logan Watson-Brown captured the silver medal with a time of 27:56. Watson-Brown would win her second silver medal of the meet when she touched the wall in a time of 24:12 during the 15-16 women's 50-yard freestyle final. The third medal was a silver that came during the 15-16 men's 500-yard freestyle final when Brian Desmond clocked a time of 4:41:21. Taylor White would capture the bronze medal competing in the 13-14 women's 200-yard butterfly final, clocking a time of 2:12:26, while Desmond would capture the 15-16 men's 200-yard freestyle silver medal when he clocked a final time of 1:44:38. Racing at the Sail Melbourne International 2018 wrapped up with Bermuda Olympic hopeful Raquel Evans and Campbell Patton both on the water for 3 races on the final day each. Patton would record a 10th place finish overall in the Laser Radial fleet. This after a 9th place finish in the first, 19th in the second, and then he finished a series best 6th in the final race to finish with 37 net points. Evans, competing in the Finn class, would come off the water in 16th place after 3 races on the day. Evans would finish 9th in the first race. He would cross the line 13th in the second, and then he would finish the third race in 17th to finish with 91 net points after 8 races in total. There were 30 goals scored, 2 extra time periods, and the semi-finalists are set in the Friendship and Premier Trophy matches after yesterday's quarterfinal play. In the Friendship Trophy it was the Somerset Trojans 0, PHC Zebras 1, Dandytown Hornets 1, Crossroads 0, Boulevard Blazers 2, Devonshire Cougars 1, North Village Rams 2, Robin Hood 5. This after extra time. In the Shield quarterfinals, it was Devonshire Colts 4, Vasco 1, Southampton Rangers 2, St. George's Colts 1. That was after extra time. Somerset Eagles 4, Young Man Social Club 0, Hamilton Parish 5, Wolves 1. Ryan Otterbridge defended his J. Donowa 5K road race title, while Georgia Wharton claimed the female overall title. Otterbridge was clocked across the line in a time of 16:52, with Kazai Seeley finishing second in a time of 17:55. Kazan Tuzo was third in a time of 18:55. Wharton crossed the line 5th overall, clocking a time of 22:25. Vivian Curtis was the second female finisher and 6th overall in a time of 23:15. Michelle Berkeley was the third female finisher and 8th overall, stopping the clock in a time of 23:31. The International Athletic Association hosted their first track meet of the 2018-19 season at the National Sports Center on Saturday. In the girls' open shot put, Tiara DeRosa has returned from school to claim the win with a toss of 12.81 meters. She would also capture the girls' discus throw title with a toss of 41.26 meters. Taylor Hines won the girls' 800-meter under-17 run with a time of 2:41.26. Zoe Hasselkoff was second in 2:44.03. Stephen Dill would win the under-20 boys 400-meter dash with a time of 55:24. John Dow Cumberbatch will win the under-20 boys 1500-meter run with a time of 4:23.62. Giannis Roberts would win the under-17 boys javelin throw with a toss of 30.96 meters. The North Village Lady Rams White and the North Village Lady Rams Red shared the honors in the Digicel Under-12 Division Netball Opener at Bernard Park on Saturday. The teams would finish level at 9-9. The Phoenix Sparks defeated the Storm 10-1. In the Digicel Under-16 Division, the Phoenix Fire would defeat the North Village Lady Rams Reds 20-13. The Warriors recorded a 15-13 win over the Storm Thunder, while the Storm Lightning defeated the North Village Lady Rams Whites 40-6. In the only senior game on tap, it proved to be quite a battle as the Lindos Tigers edged the North Village Lady Rams 34-33. It was Mariners Spirit Day at the Work Academy School on Saturday in rugby play with a total of 54 points scored in a doubleheader. In the opener, the Mariners ladies defeated the Rest ladies 15-5. Danica Borden scored both tries for the Mariners ladies, while Erica McCarthy scored the lone try for the Rest. The Rests won the men's game 24-10 over the Mariners. The Rest would get tries from Tom Healy, Robin Brickle, Jamie Baum, and Cameron D. Senqua.
Thank you, Earl. Well, that's our newscast on this Monday evening. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Good night.